The second step to the perfect appointment is something we call appropriate appointment confirmation. Appropriate appointment confirmation. This is a tough process to write because really every appointment can have a different confirmation process depending on how far out the appointment is set. Our goal, though, is the same as it is for strong appointment setting. Our goal is an appointment that shows, and so we're going to use our head, right? We're going to use our gut. We're going to do something that makes sense. Now, every appointment requires a confirmation except for one. That's the appointment where the prospect is across the street or just across town. They're on another dealer's lot. They've seen our vehicle maybe on their smartphone, and they want to know if it's in stock. They're on their way over, right? So they're going to be here in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. We're still going to set the appointment because when we get to the pre-appointment prep, we're still going to do that, and we're still going to do the VIP treatment, but we need not confirm this appointment. That's what's important to understand. It's a little bit silly if we set the appointment, we give a specific date and times. Okay, so I'm going to see you in 10 minutes, and you're going to test drive that used Camry that we have, right? There's a specific goal, specific date and time. We get the verbal commitment, absolutely, I'm on my way. We hang up the phone. It's a little silly if our manager picks up the phone 2 minutes later and confirms that the appointment's coming. So that's one appointment that doesn't need confirmation. All other appointments require some sort of a confirmation. But again, let's use our gut. Let's be careful. Let's make sure we don't spam because we have a goal here, and that's the appointment that shows, right? So we want to have a thank you confirmation, hopefully by email with all the particulars. That means we give the date and time, we give the goal again. Maybe if our dealership's hard to find, we have a map. Maybe if we have a special parking area for our appointments, we're going to show that on the email. But it's a thank you for setting the appointment, and it's another confirmation that it's going to happen. We also want to make at least one phone call, either day before or day of the appointment. And that depends on the time. Again, use our gut. If the appointment's for 9 in the morning and we open at 9 in the morning, then the call should be the day before, right? 7 o'clock the evening before to confirm they're going to be in tomorrow at 9. It's a little silly to call at 8 the morning of the appointment because they might be sleeping, they may be at home, maybe they're rushing around. So again, we're going to use our gut, but we're going to make that phone call. And we need to make sure that the customer feels guilty if they no-show. That's the whole idea with the confirmation call. So Mrs. Jones, just so you know, we're going to have the vehicle pulled up. It's going to be cleaned and gassed and ready to go. You're going to be able to go on your test drive within 5 minutes of arriving at our dealership. If anything happens to us, we're going to be sure and let you know well in advance. And by the way, because we're doing so much to get ready for this appointment, we would appreciate it if you would show us the same courtesy. See, so Mrs. Jones is going to feel guilty if she's going to feel very guilty if she's going to no-show. In fact, she'll call us in advance, right? Your appointment show ratio should be 100% except for people who call you in advance and tell you, hey, I'm sorry, I just got in an accident. I'm not going to make it. And by the way, for your confirmation calls, managers should make every single confirmation call. The reason that managers need to make this call, twofold. One, it creates a firmer commitment in the mind of the prospect. But number two, and just as important, is your team is setting soft appointments today. If they know a manager is going to call to make that confirmation call, they're going to set stronger appointments because they're going to call Mrs. Jones and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, it's Steve Stauning calling from Century Toyota. I'm just confirming you've got an appointment with us this evening at 5:15. We can't wait to see you. You're going to love the What? Oh, well, Bob said he set an appointment. Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones. I'm sorry to bother you. Thanks a lot. See, Mrs. Jones never set an appointment. There was no verbal commitment, no mental commitment for Mrs. Jones. And so when a manager makes that call, that confirmation call, we can get to the bottom of those things rather than doing all the pre-appointment prep, getting the car ready, as we're going to learn in the next step, and then have Mrs. Jones no-show. And by the way, all no-shows should be investigated at the time of the scheduled appointment. So if it's 2 o'clock and Barbara Jones has an appointment at 2 o'clock, and I'm standing at the sales desk and I look around and I don't see Barbara Jones and I still have her keys for the test drive she's going to take right here at the desk, I want to know where she is. And so I'm going to have the salesperson call her right at 2. Wait a minute, Steve, why don't we wait until 2:15? Why don't we give her a little bit of time? Because every minute counts at this point. She's late to that appointment by 2 o'clock. And we're going to call and say, hey, just want to make sure you're still going to be able to make it today, whatever. What we're going to find out is that Barbara Jones is across the street. She's at the Honda dealership. She's in the box. She's about to sign. And unless we call right at the scheduled time, it's going to be too late. We call tomorrow, she's already bought the car. But right now we can say, listen, Barbara, put the pen down. The Accord's a great vehicle, but come on across the street, keep your appointment, keep your promise to us, test drive the Camry, and then if you decide to buy the Accord, go on back across the street. But you're not going to make this happen unless you make the call prior to her signing that paperwork.